Good evening, everyone. I think the only person that I have to say good afternoon is Carlos. He's the only Brazilian here today. Thanks for representing Carlos. The rest of
Okay,
us, we all,
okay.
thank you so much. The
Thank
rest
you.
of us, we are all in Europe, and Richards and Joel and Sonia in Africa. All right, guys. Oh, there's so much to say, but I'm gonna really keep it short because Leoni here, she's a daughter of a friend of mine from Switzerland. And that's how we met. We haven't met in person yet. We've been having some meetings together for the past couple of months, I would say, with a teenage group that I created to help out with insecurities, getting improved their English, and so on. And now, surprisingly, Leoni is ready to have a chat with you all. So, Leoni, please just give us again a little introduction
Hmm.
and then let us know when you're ready for the set of questions. Thank you.
Yeah, like Simon said, my name is Leoni. I'm 17 years old and right now in the second grade or school year of um the specialist secondary school in the health department. And yeah, and I live in the German part of Switzerland.
All right, that's good. That's good. So, you guys know when you have a question, you raise your hands. I'm going to go start. Leonie, please tell us. Switzerland is a unique country in Europe. Why is that?
I think probably one point is that we have four official languages. So we have like the German, then Italian, French, and Romansh. I also think because we have democracy, so we can, as the people, choose if we want to have these policies or not. And I also think because it's beautiful and also very different when you are in the German part or in the French part or the Italian part.
All right. Okay. Just to complement that question that I just made, like, okay, you have the languages, right? But does that mean that the language you have completely different cultures as well?
No, not different cultures, I would say, but I think it's probably different because when you go to the Italian part, then it's like you have the feeling that you are in Italy. So you have like the palms and this beautiful weather. It's always hot, not always, but it's hotter than in where I live and everything. And when you go to the German part, it's yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like it's normal for me because I can't really describe it because I kind of like grow grew up here. And then when you go to the French part, and it's you kind of like feel that you are in another language barrier. So if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, when you are in the Italian part, it feels like in Italy. When you are in the
Yeah,
French
you
part,
like
it feels a little bit like France.
yeah.
But how about the German part then? Do you feel like you're in Austria or in Germany then?
I think when you're in the Alps, maybe more Austria or also yeah, because it's kind of like more feeling. And I think like in Zurich or Basel, it's more like Germany, I would say.
Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, thank you. Richard, please go ahead with the question.
Yes, hello, Leoni. I'm Richard from Cape Town, South Africa. I'm also 17,000 years old. Um, myself and Carlos, that is. I'm actually quite interested in your education. You mentioned it in your introduction. I'd love to know more about your education and what does it entail? How is it different to any other school?
So we have kind of like in Switzerland, you have 9 years of the obligatory school that you need to do, and afterwards you kind of like can decide what you want to do. So you either do an apprenticeship, I think it's called, or you do more school. So when you do more school, you have also many options. Kind of like you do the to the gymnasium. I think it's kind of like college or something. And after you completed that and graduated, you can go to the university. So you can be a doctor and a lawyer, or you can do other schools that's not as equal with what you can do afterwards, and that's what I'm doing. And afterwards, I can be a teacher, so I can go to the school to be a teacher, or also I think some nurse stuff that you need to have a higher education. You can also go to this kind of schools after I graduate.
Just to get it a little more clear for us, like what you're trying to say is that like they kind of test young people and they level up. Like the smarter you are, you have to go longer to school, or it's really a choice that you can make, or they kind of push you to that direction so you're gonna get a higher level of education or not.
Now you can really choose freely. So you can either do a job or school. But in school and also in the job, it depends on your grade you have in the end of the year. Because
Yes.
if you're bad in school, you can't go to the gymnasium.
So they do check
Yeah.
the grades,
Yeah.
otherwise you're not allowed to continue. Okay, I get it. But it's also very strong on the education. Like when you study hard, you can get to some positions, some jobs, education, otherwise you go to work. How about the salaries? They're very different. Like let's say a doctor and someone who works in a factory. How big? How is the difference then? Because I can imagine in some countries, like in Brazil, a doctor receives this. Someone who works in a factory receives this. In Europe, I mean, Belgium, they try to not make the gap so big. It's still, of course, the doctor went to school for so many years, he gets better paid, but it's still, you have like this. Otherwise,
Yeah.
in Brazil, it's like that. How is in Switzerland then?
I don't know if I'm being honest because I don't really, or I didn't really thought about it like this. But I think it's also the doctor is paid more, but I don't know how the salary is. But
Okay, an example that I can give you, it's like, is it easy for young people who do not have a degree to buy a house, for instance? Can anyone buy a house in your country?
yeah, you can kind of like go to the bank and ask for money and then you can pay with that, but afterwards you need to pay monthly back. Or so you can kind of like buy a house, but then you need to pay back, or you can buy it like if you have the money right now.
Mm-hmm. All right. Carlos, before you ask her question, can you please tell her how the situation is in Brazil a little bit? Like buying a house and going to school, because you have also young adults at home, let's
Okay.
say.
Uh-huh. You see, our country, Brazil, we have a population of 200 million, approximately more than 200 million, okay? And the area is 8 million square kilometers, okay, from the Amazon to the south, okay, long distances. And they're very different from the south to the north, northeast, okay, Amazon. We have several weather, okay. But in general, Brazil is a country of immigrants from Europe, okay, nowadays from China. We don't have a lot of immigrants from India or Bangladesh or Pakistan, okay, Simone. I guess because this country, they speak English and they go to United States or Europe. Okay, mainly in Brazil, Portuguese, Spanish, or German people, Italian, like my family. Okay, and the Brazil is a developing country. Okay, we have maybe areas which very good quality of life. Okay, like for instance, São Paulo or big cities, Rio de Janeiro, Curitiba, Porto Alegre, okay, high quality. But we have problems, okay, poverty, maybe people don't go to school, low salaries, I guess low opportunities for the young people working, okay? But I guess we are a land of opportunities, okay? Especially if you work with the agro business, agriculture, or maybe cattle, okay? We export mainly agro, okay, soybean, we export corn, export a lot of things related to the agriculture, okay? We have oil, petroleum, okay? We have maybe minerals, okay? And then the Amazon is a rich area, but poor people and very low population in the Amazon, okay? This is a kind of resume about Brazil, okay?
Very good, Carlos. Did you forget a question? Go ahead, ask your question.
Okay. You see, Brazil, a big country, okay, big area, big population, and Switzerland, a small country. What is the population of Switzerland? Let
I
me
think
say maybe 11 million,
it's I think around 9 million right now.
9 million.
I think maybe 8.9, something like that.
Okay. Small
Yeah.
area,
Yeah,
okay.
because we also
The-
have the Alps where you can't really live with the mountains and everything. So we have like I think maybe 40% of Switzerland are the Alps, and there can't really live that many people. So
Okay,
I think this is also a really or a point why Switzerland doesn't have that much of
okay.
people.
And I remember, guys, cheese and chocolate that I love. And what do you say, Leoni, about cheese and chocolate and watches? I like watches, the design of the watches. But
Yeah.
people nowadays are not using watches. They are using just the cell phone to see the hours. Okay, tell us something about cheese and chocolate.
So I don't really I like cheese, but not every cheese. So I kind of like the new cheese that came out like maybe a year ago. It's the female version of Appenzeller. It's Appenzellerinnen. And I think I kind of like this cheese. And about the chocolate, I really, really like Swiss chocolate. Yeah, but I didn't really try chocolate from other countries. Maybe like the US, but not more so. I think I can't really compare them. And about the watches, it's yeah, some people really just use the phone, but I think it's still popular for also young people's, mostly men, to buy watches. My brother also have one, or maybe also two by now. So yeah, I think it depends, but they're not gone in by the young people.
Okay, Leoni, thank you very much.
Oh, I don't see any hands raised.
Yeah, I told you Carlos is 18,000 years old.
You see?
Like dinosaurs.
Points.
And about chocolate, guys. In Brazil, famous chocolate from Belgium or Switzerland. And Brazilian chocolate is good too. And we export the cocoa. Okay. You made in Europe the chocolate with African or Brazilian, I don't know, Vietnam, Indonesia, the fruits, okay, cocoa. Cacao is from tropical areas, okay? And you guys, you made a very good chocolate. I love chocolate from Switzerland or Germany or Belgium. Very good. But we need to take care with the fats.
Yes, we're all in the same boat, as they say. But Leonie, like when you're mentioning the cheese, I'm not able to share screen or anything. I really don't know which kind of cheese you're talking about. So I'll ask you to later on to share the information with us on the chat, on the group.
I can do it
Because-
right now.
Can you show us maybe?
Yeah, on the phone. I will.
Yes,
Send it
because
in the
I don't
Zoom.
know if anybody else knows about this cheese. What do you mean about being new? Is something from the past 10 years, 50 years, or?
So it's kind of like the original cheese or the first cheese from. This is the male version because it's Appenzeller. It's a male person that lives in a state in Switzerland. So we call it canton. It's in the Appenzell, and he lives there. So it's kind of like Appenzeller, and now they kind of like created the female version, and it looks like this. It also is pink from the outside of the package.
Okay. Oh, you show it in the. Can you try to put your phone in the camera
Oh.
so they can see it at this moment? I see it. So it's really pink.
Yeah, the
Okay.
cheese itself is not pink, but the package is.
Okay, okay. And it tastes exactly the same as the male
No,
version.
I think it tastes different, and I kind of like the female version more.
Oh, it
The
must
male
be
version-
sweeter. So Linda would never eat it because Linda doesn't eat sugar. So Linda, you would go for the male version, right?
For me, it looks spectacular for me. When I'm in Switzerland, I'm sure I will buy it to eat, to try
Oh,
it.
you see, making propaganda of Swiss cheese.
So,
All right,
and this is the male
package.
version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's also a male person in the traditional.
Yeah, so it's
wearing.
red, and for the ladies, it's pink. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna check this out later on. Thank you. Okay, Maria, please ask your question.
Okay, Leonie, I wanted to ask you because you said that in Switzerland there are many official languages, and how is it like traveling from for example, German region to like French region? Do you have like any problems with communicating with other people, or isn't it really a problem?
So in Switzerland, you need to learn another official language in school. So I needed to learn French, and I still learn French, but I can really speak French because, yeah, I don't know. We kind of like needed to study words that we don't really need. But yeah, and in another part of Switzerland or in other parts, they need to learn Italian as their second language because they're
Closer.
they're closer to the Italian part. So when I travel to in the French part of Switzerland, I can try to speak French, but mostly I speak in English because everybody nowadays speaks English or can speak English. So yeah, but you can also communicate in French or German, but the French people or the people that live in the French part don't really like to talk German. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But on TV or in the government, which is the official language? No official language. If they communicate it with each other, like the ministers, they have translator because they don't want to speak the other language, or
So I think when you need to be high in the politics of Switzerland, you need to speak at least one or two other, or all, was not all. Romansh is kind of like no one speaks it nowadays really, so it isn't really a language that also in the politic is or they are not speaking Romansh in the politic. So they can like just speak German, French, and Italian. So I think they need to can speak all of them or maybe just one. But I didn't really watch when they have like these meetings or these open meetings. I don't know, but I think they can like speak in French, German, or Italian, and the others understand them because they also can speak them.
Okay, very
And
interesting.
in the TV, it's every part has their own version of the TV, and also so we have kind of like SRF, it's the German part, and in the French, it's in the French. It's kind of like just translated in French. So yeah, we have kind of like our own version of the channel.
Yes.
And also with the radios, they're all different and everything.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Laura, welcome.
Hi, I wanted to ask, you say that when you are at school, you have a second language, but you are not the one choosing the second language, or it depends on the area you are living? Can you hear me?
Sorry, yes, I don't know. I can see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, because I have some connection problems,
So,
so maybe that's
sorry.
why.
Yeah, no, it's because of me. My my background just went black, and now my camera isn't working.
Yes, that's true.
Maybe I'll switch on to my phone. Sorry.
No worries. Because we can hear you indeed, but your camera is not working. So
Yeah, I don't know what happened. So no, I can like explain it. I need to download the app, but we can choose which language we speak. It's the state where you live in chooses it, but they mostly can like choose the closest. So the French people chose German because they're closer to the German part and to the Italian part, and the Germans, they choose either French or Italian. It depends, yeah. And the Italian part chooses also German because they're nearer. But you can also choose the other language that you don't have obligatory in school as in your free time, so as an extra lessons.
As a third, okay. And it's common for people to choose like to study a third language, or also school organize like afternoon courses for free, or how it works?
Yeah, you have kind of like more school. Also, I think you have like 2 or 3 lessons more if you choose to do an extra language. But it's free. So yeah, and I think most of the people chooses them because, yeah, I don't know. I didn't choose one in my obligatory school, but now I chose 1 year Italian and French, but I stopped because it was too much because, yeah. But we also need to learn English in school, so we have kind of like German, English, and French or Italian or, yeah, German.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, it's a lot to speak, like to learn 4 languages simultaneously.
Yeah, but you know, when you're in the German part, so German, it's kind of like we talk Swiss German, and we need to learn, or we in school learn High German. So it's kind of like more of the grammar and how to, yeah, I don't know, just the grammar that we need to learn. So, and all of the words are similar. So it isn't really a difficult part to learn it.
Yes, I get it. Wow. What a very unique country. Okay, João.
Hi, Leoni.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, can you elaborate a little bit on education system? Like in my country, education from primary school to secondary school, there is no tuition. It's totally free. So, how about in a country? Is that for free or it's affordable for every family? They can afford it.
So in Switzerland, till the 9th grade or till this 9 years of obligatory school, it's It's free. So, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
I don't know what happened, but the 9 years of the obligatory school, it's free, so the country is coming up with it, but with the taxes that we pay, so kind of like but afterwards, when you also do an apprenticeship or more school, you kind of like need to buy the books by yourself or some other stuff, but mostly the company or in the school is kind of like, or the country is also kind of like paying. So yeah, or you can also kind of like get a when you don't have like really much money, so you can ask for money. I don't know how it's called in English.
You can borrow or you get subsidies.
Yeah, it's stipendium.
Hmm?
I kind of like.
You get subsidies from the government, and after you have to pay back.
No, you don't pay back. Why it's not working anymore? A scholarship. Yeah.
I get a scholarship.
Yeah, you can also get a scholarship.
Yeah. So that's.
It's basically every kid. It doesn't matter how rich the parents are, or can basically do a good can go to school or do a job or
But, about scholarship, are there some specific requirements for somebody to apply for scholarship?
I don't really know because I don't need it. But a friend of mine has one, but I don't know what you really need or have or even not have to apply to it.
Okay. Oh, thanks, Leoni.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me?
Welcome back.
Oh, okay. I see the Lohans also left and came back. What's happening today? Okay. All right. Okay, Laura, please ask your question again. Another question.
Yeah, I have a completely different question. Like when Maria introduced you, she said that you have in common like the fact that you like to read books. Is it correct?
Yeah, I have a bookshop in the background. I really love to read books, and
And which book are you reading now? And which kind of books in general you read?
right now I read the second book of the original German book. It's called Windstärke 17, and it's about the younger sister. So in the first book, it's kind of like all about the older sister and the alcoholic mother, and she was so abusive and everything in her history. And in the second book, it's focused on the little sister. She's grown up and everything. Yeah. And in general, I kind of like read a romance book also for for the new adult and everything. Yeah, so the romance stuff.
And do you also read it in English?
Yes, I also read in English. it depends on my mood if I want to read in English or in German.
Oh, so no French.
No, I need to read French books in school. So I have kind of like maybe 3 or 4 French books in my bookshelf. But I really hate them because it's in French and I don't really understand much in kind of like 2 of the books.
Oh,
So yeah.
I was just gonna ask Laurence to ask her question in French for you. But
No,
you're not
I
gonna answer her then.
no, I can really speak French.
Okay, so Laurence is gonna be okay. Laurence is gonna ask in English later on. Okay. Carlos, please go ahead.
You see, I see in your T-shirt, Leoni, a British flag. Okay,
Oh,
let me know about the influence of the English culture, English from Britain, from US, and maybe when you turn on the radio or in maybe your playlists, what do you listen about music, for instance?
What was it? Sorry, I didn't really catch the question.
Okay. Now about the English influence in your country.
Oh yeah. So I say the T-shirt is from my father. I kind of like borrowed it because of the feministic strike. I don't know what it's called in Switzerland. That wasn't everyone needed or not needed, but could wear something violet. And we have like in the radio, we have like many uh, artists that are English from the US and also from England. In our TV, it's kind of like also all of the TV series like SpongeBob and everything is also there. So yeah,
A strong influence, like in Brazil, like in Brazil.
yeah,
You
it's
see,
kind of
when you turn on a radio in Brazil, some radio stations, maybe they have Brazilian songs and English songs in
yeah. We
English.
also mixed in fire in our radios. We have German artists, we have Swiss German artists, English, Spain, everything also.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Leonie.
oh, before we go back to Joel, when I speak, I hear. So, do you hear as well? It seems like it's just when I talk. I don't know what's
Yeah,
happening.
there is a noisy. There is a noisy. I don't know from where.
I was thinking it was just me. Okay. So before we move on with the question, I was gonna say that yeah, that's a little bit annoying.
I think it's from Leoni's phone because I can see like
Late.
her microphone.
They get this.
Maybe I can like search my earphones.
Okay, I'm just gonna let Joan talk. Joan, please ask a question.
Yes, Leonie, my second question was is do you happen to know kids or other citizens from other countries studying in your country?
Yeah, a friend of mine that is originally from Portugal. And also another friend of mine is from I don't know, I think Kosovo. Yeah, I can really point out and say we have kind of like it's really different to tell because I don't really can't I can sorry. So I have a few friends that are from other countries or just their family history and they're born here in Switzerland. And also in whole Switzerland, you can find people from all over the world that are kind of like just are here in the first generation or also a few generation down, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's kind of like
What they say about education system in your country?
what?
What do they say about education system in your country?
Yeah, I think they think it's good. I don't really talk about with them because most of my friends that I really talk to about or that are really my closer friends are kind of like the second or third generation and are raised and born here in Switzerland, so they can't really tell a difference or can't really say, oh no, in Portugal this and this is better.
Good, good. Thank you, Leonie.
All right, Richard. Richard. His
Sorry,
mic
yeah,
is off. Yeah.
yeah, my mic was off. Apologies. I told you I'm an old man. Yeah, interesting question. It's not easy being a teenager nowadays. There's a lot of pressure, and especially living in a country like Switzerland, it's not very big. What do you do for fun? How do you socialize? What do you do? What activities do you do to keep yourself sane? Let's put it that way. As a teen.
So most teens, I think, just go outside and hang out or kind of like go to a party in the evening, or we have kind of like also in summer, also the festivals, the open airs. We also have other stuff to do, also the cinema or also shopping malls. We have kind of like a really big we can really do much stuff, and you can also go easy there with the public transport because it's kind of like connected really good, I think. So yeah, but I think for me I really socialize in school when I see all my friends and see them and everything. I also socialize when I go in the trainings in the evening from the sports clubs here in here in my town, and also in Switzerland there's many sports clubs. It's a really big thing in Switzerland. Recently there was this competition, this really big, that is kind of like, I think, all 10 years or maybe 5. And there's this big one, this for everyone in Switzerland comes together, and kind of like it's a really big competition in gymnastic, in and kind of like everything that has to do with sports, with the sport club. So yeah, so I think it's kind of like this stuff.
Yeah, just before I let you go, I'm going to ask you one more question. Do you see you spending the rest of your life in Switzerland, or would you like to move on afterwards?
I really like to go to the Netherlands to live there because I think it's a really beautiful country, and I also really love the language. It's kind of like a mix of it's kind of like really similar to German, and every time I see a video in Dutch, I kind of like understand half of the sentence and half not, but you can kind of like rhyme it together. So yeah, but Switzerland is really beautiful. So I think, yeah, I could possibly imagine to be here my whole life or spend here my whole life.
Yeah, I think to talk about like what Richard just said. So you see yourself with a Swiss man, Dutchman, or you just see yourself as a person in the future doing your own thing, or do you see yourself in a couple with a family?
So I don't really want kids. Yeah, it has kind of like, yeah, maybe I in the future I want kids, but at the time now I don't want kids. So I don't really kind of like say, oh, I want to be in 10 years, I want to be married with 4 kids. I kind of like just wait or kind of like let the imagine happen or let everything happen in the future, because I can't really say when I say no, in 10 years I want to be married with 4 kids. I don't know if it really happens then. So I kind of like just get everything to me and live in the not in the past, not in the future, in the
Present, in
Yeah,
the right now.
yeah.
Great answer, Leonie. Glad to hear. As I don't see any hands raised, I'm gonna ask you, when it comes to TV, like, watch TV all the time nowadays, which of these stream channels are very famous in Switzerland? Like, it's only Netflix, or you have other things that you guys do, like you just watch Netflix, or you play video games together in a group? How is it like for the teens, for the teenagers in Switzerland at the moment?
So I think Netflix, Disney Plus, and also the Amazon Prime is really popular in Switzerland. So I don't really know any person who hasn't one of them. So yeah, it's really popular. So most people in my when I was a child, I always watched stuff on the TV with the when it was live, and now I can like watch everything on Netflix or Disney Plus and everything, except from the sports, because yeah, I just kind of like to watch it live. So yeah, but it's really popular in Switzerland. Every 3 of them. Also, I think maybe also other, but I don't know. But these are kind of like the 3 things, and you can go to any person in Switzerland. Maybe not any, but most of them, and ask them if they have one of them, and they say yes.
Yes, I thought so. It's very global. Everywhere is pretty much the same, I guess. Okay, Laurence, not in French, in English, please.
Hello. Just I wanted to come back to sport. In Switzerland, everybody has to learn how to ski at school or to climb.
Oh, great question.
No, we have kind of like just normal PE lessons with with kind of like football, basketball, and other stuff. If you want to learn ski, you need to do it in your free time. Also, we have kind of like sport holidays, sport vacation, 2 weeks off of school, and most of the people in Switzerland go skiing then in these 2 weeks, in the first or in the second one, or both. And then you can hire a ski instructor. And you can either do, most of the kids are going in the groups because it's also not that it's cheaper. But you can also, when you're older, or also as a tourist in Switzerland, you can kind of like get a private one to learn in I guess just you and your mother or something. But it's not taught in school. And with the climbing, in my school we have kind of like this climbing wall, and we could climb like 2 or 3 times in PE. So yeah, but it's also not, so it's kind of like just normal sport lessons like every other.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I think she answered your question. Thank you, Laurence. Maria?
Yeah, Leonie, I know that you live in a German part of Switzerland, so I really wondered, is the culture really similar to like Germany, or is it only like the languages the same or really similar?
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like similar to Germany, because I think when a person that lives in the French part comes in the German part, they will say, "Oh, I feel like in Germany." Like, it's for me in the Italian part, it's kind of like I feel like I have a vibe that I'm in Italy and everything. we also kind of like to drink beer, if I say it like this. Yeah. So I think it's quite similar, but not in everything. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Rosie, she's ready with a question. And then later, Marlene, you're going to get ready with a question? Okay, Rosie, please.
Hi, Leoni. And I have a question for you about what do you like? What will you like in the future to study? Or you say that you would like to live in the Netherlands someday, but what is your dreams? What would you like to be like in 10 years later? What is your passions that you would like to do?
So right now I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's kind of like a really confusing word in English for me to pronounce. Yeah, but it's kind of like it's now my wish right now, and maybe in the future it changes, and I let it kind of like I choose when I just kind of like choose when I need to choose, if you know what I mean. So when I'm or I choose my dream that I want in the moment. So yeah, but right now it's what? Yeah.
and you will study in Switzerland, or do you can study as well in another country, or do some in exchange or internship with the vet studies?
I think it's most I think in Switzerland it's kind of like the easiest, I would say, but it would be cool if I could go abroad to study, maybe also in the US or in England or Germany, or also maybe the Netherlands. It depends on what I think I want to study, because it's also kind of like if I want to go back to Switzerland or come back afterwards and want to work, I need to kind of like look at if it's in the same level as in Switzerland. So some stuff you can study and graduate, it's not on the same level as importance. It's not when you can be maybe a doctor in the other country, and when you come back to Switzerland you can't be a doctor because the school or the stuff you need to learn isn't Swiss approved. So yeah, but I think so to become a doctor or vet, it's kind of like when you go to Germany or in the US or in England, it's kind of like possible.
Okay, thank you.
All right. But Leonie, tell us, which are your favorite animals then?
I really like horses. Yeah, I think they were like magical. So they're also kind of like this big and strong, and it's kind of like when they running when they in the when they're running, it's kind of like it feels like, or I can imagine it feels like freedom. So I also rode once for 9 years, but the horse that I always rode was bought by another buyer. So now I'm not riding anymore, but yeah.
Okay, nice. Carlos, he's back with another question.
Okay, I guess we are finishing the session because it's almost 4 o'clock in Brazil. I guess it's 1 hour, okay, Simone?
Yes.
1 hour chatting. Please, Leonie, tell us something about your family, relatives, brothers, sisters, father, mother.
So my mother is a friend of Simone, and also attended a meeting or more meetings. I don't know how many by now. Yeah. My father doesn't really speak English. Simone once asked my mother if they could participate in the couple meetings, but my father can't really speak English, so he would be no use. And my brother right now is in the military. he kind of like finished the obligatory that every man in Switzerland needs to do. I think it's 18 weeks. But he continues because he really liked it, because he could and I think he's he's keeping on till he's a lieutenant. So that's his plan. I think he has like 1 year left. Yeah. And I also have a cat. His name is Bucky, like the Marvel character. And yeah.
Okay, okay, very good. And your house is you, your father, and your mother.
Yeah, and
your
my
brother is in the military.
Yeah, but
Your brother.
in the weekend he comes back home, and my mother is doing the laundry for him.
Okay. Very good.
Okay, I think Marlene wanted to ask a question, but not anymore. Okay, Marlene is not ready. Sonia is also not in the camera. Okay, Leoni. So what you're saying, right? Like you do have some international friends, not actually, because everybody that you know from another country, they were actually born and raised in Switzerland, right?
Yeah, I think most of them that I am really close with and talk to them like once a week or more in a week. Yeah, I kind of like met people, also talk to them, and I think also kind of like played with them when I was a kid on a camping in Germany, where we met also people from all around the world, also so Netherlands and
No, but I mean in your life, in your current life. For instance, do you go to these people's house and like Kosovo or Portugal, and if you go, do you notice the difference the way they are raised than the way you are raised? Because it seems to me, I mean to us, you're very Swiss. Your both parents are from Switzerland. You're really rooted in Switzerland. Now your friends, they are also going to school with you. They speak Swiss German. However, they come from another background. Do you notice that when you are with them?
Yeah, I once was at home with a friend from Sri Lanka. So her parents came from there, and it's also the religion that was showing off more, because we're not really religious. So I don't really know it from at home, but also and once I was by a friend that was Italian, and they were doing homemade tomato sauce, and the whole family was down and kind of like helping, and it was louder. That's
what I mean.
Yeah, I see difference, but also sometimes it also depends on if the grandparents maybe are also in Switzerland and live nearby and influence the kids, or if the parents are born in Switzerland and the grandparents kind of like got to Switzerland, if they're born outside of Switzerland and came. I think it also depends on this kind of stuff, but I really see difference.
That's nice. Nice to hear. Because here in Belgium, it is very clear when someone is not born here. Even if they are raised here, they keep their culture. But I know, like, for instance, in Brazil, they really become Brazilian very quickly. That's why I was wondering. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Rosie, do you still have a question?
No, I wanted to say congratulations, Leonie, for make the conversation the interviewer, and thank you for sharing the information with us and answer our questions.
Oh, that's so kind of you, Rosie. And it's true. With this tone, we're gonna close the session today. Leonie, you did really great. I'm so proud of you. Like from months ago when we met, and now you're improving very fast. And I'm pretty sure that you will have a bright future, even if you don't know yet and you don't want to think about it. Completely right. Just let it come, and you will be a very successful person. That's for sure. You're lovely just the way you are. Thank you so much for taking the time and explaining us about your life and telling us a little bit more about your culture and country.
Thank you for having me and to ask questions, because without you, it can't really happen also. And sorry for the technical issues that my computer had.
No worries.
But yeah, it was really nice talking to you and explaining Switzerland. It's kind of like, I think for me, it's complicated to explain some parts.
No, you just did great. Thank you so much. Guys, I will see you next time. You all enjoy your evening. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Leoni. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Leoni.
Bye.
Bye.